In this episode, we chow down on the world's largest rodent and check out a salt mine. My wife and I are on a motorcycle trip through Mexico, Central and South America exploring culture and food. So bring an appetite for adventure because we're hungry riders.
So then we headed back up to Bogota and we spent some time with a family that we met through couch surfing. Thank you again to Camilla and her family who let us stay with them for about a week. And one of the main reasons we wanted to go to Bogota was to get our bikes worked on.
Yeah, Bogota is a great place to have KLR service. There was an actual Kawasaki shop. You can get any part that you would need for the bike. And basically it was just a major service. We're getting our valves checked, the oil changed, we got a whole new set of brakes, flush the fluids, that kind of stuff. Just normal service. And but that took a little while, so we had some time to see the city.
Yeah, Camilla took us around, gave us a tour of the city, and then we went up to Montserrat.
Yeah, Montserrat, there's a teleferico or gondola that takes you up there. You could also walk, but we chose not to take that option. But yeah, it's a really great view of the city. It's like a big cliff that's about 1,000 feet above the main city, and you get a nice panoramic view. This is one of those more touristy spots that we hadn't really been to yet in Bogota, and they had some very interesting snack choices, which we had to try. What are you having?
Cocoa tea. Because it's the thing to do here in this touristy.
So you caved into peer pressure?
Yes.
Let's see what... Okay. But it has that agua panela, which is the same thing we were having. So don't worry about eating this kind of stuff, because apparently you have to eat like 80 pounds of these leaves to equal what someone would snort, I guess, or however they do it. But it's supposed to help altitude sickness.
Okay.
No.
I know it just tastes like agua panela.
We'll see what extra in there. So here we have some fried ants and salt. In Colombia. We're in Bogota, in Montserrat. They're selling these here. I haven't seen them yet. And we're both going to try them. Oh, look, they're stuck together.
Yeah, it's a 2 for 1.
See, it's like a little body. It's an entire ant. So we've eaten other bugs on this trip, but none this large.
Oh, that is the whole thing.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you.
That's a whole.
Yes, that's what I'm telling you.
Oh, I
So
thought
this
each
one's
one
yours.
was.
I'll get
I
a
thought
fresh
that was
one.
2 ants. No. No, that's way too big. That's twice as big as I thought it was.
Yeah, that is a big ant. This is a bite back right there. It's fine.
It's just crunchy.
Yeah, it's just crunchy. It tastes like a nut with a head. Just bit the head.
No, I don't want to do it.
Yeah, come on.
No.
Yeah. Here, I'll feed you.
No.
Serafina, come on.
No, you're not feeding me. Oh, look, there's
Can I have some of your water? You get used to it. It's like a little nut. They're crunchy.
with a head.
This one, I don't. Actually, you know what? This one doesn't have a head. You are ahead of the game because this has no head on there.
Oh yeah, some of them don't have heads.
Yeah, no head. You know, you're gonna get it. How about, okay, just bite the bottom off.
Bite the butt.
Bite the butt off. Come on.
You want to hold it.
Yeah. Just put that in your mouth and bite down. And just crunch it up. Just crunch it up real quick.
Too big.
No, it's not that. It's.
Okay, I will try it.
You want one? Here, film this guy.
But only...
No, todo, entero.
Have you had them before?
Come antes, ¿sí?
It's good?
It's salt.
Salty.
Sweet.
Salty. ¿Sí?
And crooked.
Crunchy. One, 2, 3, go! Okay, good chewing. It's not bad.
It's like flaky.
Yeah. You're gonna be picking ants out of your teeth for the rest of the day.
Just the one ant. You can eat an ant.
Just one. See, pretty great. It's quick.
Way faster than me.
Las probamos hoy.
Hacía rato no comía.
So after Montserrat, we walked a bit more downtown and we saw a bit more of the city. And one of the interesting things we saw was that you can pay per minute to use someone else's cell phone on the street. We hadn't seen this anywhere else as we were traveling. Kind of interesting.
And then back at Camilla's house, they introduced us to some very interesting foods. One of which was called changua. It's a breakfast soup.
Yeah, it's got milk, eggs, cheese, and capers, and some like fresh onions sometimes. It's really interesting. We're going to post this recipe on our website at hungryriders.com if you want to learn how to make it. So Camilla also took us to go see a salt mine, which is a little ways outside of Bogota. And this is kind of interesting. They had a bit of a museum for like archaeological type stuff. But the main thing to see was the salt mine. So you hike down inside of it. They did the cool lighting type of things with the like colored lights like blue and greens and reds.
The colored lights made it look way more awesome than it did already.
Because it's white salt, otherwise it's white and brown in there, I guess. And then one of the other things, I guess there's this pool that they used to use for somehow purifying the salt and transporting it around the mine. It was like basically it's a super saline solution.
And still.
But it's entirely still, and then with the lighting in there, just how it was, it's completely reflective. It's like,
it looks like a mirror.
It's the clearest mirror I've ever seen. It's compared to just even a normal mirror.
Right.
Like you're standing next to it, and like when I first saw it, I thought, wow, that's just like another cave down there. I thought it was like an opening to like the lower level, but that was just the ceiling that was reflected up. And it was really cool. They had some Christmas lights in there, which was kind of weird.
Right.
It kind of threw it off. And then they had one thing where like it looks like you're walking out on a ledge that's like,
story time.
Yes, you're gonna fall 60 feet if you fall off of it. Actually, you're only gonna fall like
2 inches.
Yes, I think it was 60 centimeters is all it was. So you're just gonna go to your knees maybe.
Yeah.
Still, you don't want to fall in, but like it was really freaky. It just felt like you're on the edge, and I did try that.
Yeah, and the salt had grown on the walls. I guess grown is the wrong word, but it was all over the walls. It had formed into these crazy formations naturally.
Yeah, the salt's basically oozing out of the mine through like all the surfaces. Yeah, it's crazy natural formations coming from the ceiling, big spikes.
And then they also had an actual sculpture that they had sculpted a bunch of salt into a heart, which is very
giant
cute.
heart. We took a picture. So this is our honeymoon after all.
It's very fitting.
Yeah, but that was an interesting experience. And then we're riding back and this is in a car, of course. But the scenery really looks a lot more like the Colorado Rockies or something.
Yeah,
to me. It was
just in the mountains.
Yeah, it was very green, and it's not what you'd expect for, I don't know.
Colombia?
Yeah, Colombia. I don't know. Like, where's the jungle?
So Camila and her family took us out to lunch one day, and we ended up getting Guido Asado.
And Guido is one of those things that we'd never seen before on the trip. They knew we were interested in food, and that's how we ended up talking about it. And what it actually is it's the world's largest rodent.
Also known as a capybara.
Yeah, and it also happens to be delicious. Yeah, it's really good. It's kind of like pork, but it's different. It's a very good sized rodent. Like it's the world's largest, so it's a lot of meat to it. It's not some little bones or anything. I really enjoyed it.
But as we were eating, the dad of the family said, you should really try the ribs.
They were actually planning on having a party that weekend. And so smoked ribs and a party up in the mountains. I guess we were going to go, but like we decided to stay longer specifically because of these two instances.
Yeah, so we headed up into the mountains near Bogota. It was not that far, maybe half an hour out of the way.
They actually have a vacation home that's right next to this really famous mountain, Huayca. And we went up there. It's really impressive, great view. And then they're basically just getting ready for the party for that whole day.
They're going to invite a whole bunch of friends and family over and just spend the whole weekend eating and drinking.
Basically. So we got there, first things first, you gotta like start the fire for this chiguito. It's actually kind of like a chimney smoker. And so you start the fire, basically you put the chiguito that's been marinating, put it on hooks and then just hang it over the fire. After about 45 minutes, you take them off. And it's, I tried them and
very delicious. Better than the asado?
It is better than the asado. He was totally right. The ribs were totally worth staying for, just for the ribs. Everything else was great too, but the ribs were especially good.
And they also had a soup called mondongo.
And this is a very Colombian type of dish.
We saw it several times throughout the trip.
Yeah, it's one of those people love to eat it. I think it's a great party food. We made a giant pot of it. It's got like 6 different types of meat in it, like sausage and beef and pork, and it's got tripe. They put like hot dogs in it too, and then they use this kind of like yellow dye spice to make it yellow, and it's also got potatoes. And yeah, you basically serve it over rice, and we helped out with the preparation of that in the kitchen, the very busy kitchen. And yeah, I think they served like, I don't know, 40 or 50 people with that. It was quite a bit.
It was a lot of food. So then after dinner, everybody was just hanging out, having a good time, talking, and there's plenty of snacks and alcohol to go around, including the famous Colombian drink aguardiente, which is an anise-flavored alcoholic drink.
It's good. I guess they make it from all kinds of stuff, like corn and wheat, sugar, or a mix of those. It's much smoother than it sounds.
Yeah, it was very good. And of course there's also tequila and vodka and whiskey and beer and all kinds of stuff. The party lasted till the wee hours of the morning, some of which we don't remember.
Yeah, as the night goes on, getting more and more tipsy. There's more dancing.
Louder singing.
Yeah. Someone was playing a guitar. Like everyone's like singing in Spanish around us.
You played a little guitar too.
No, I can't play the guitar. But yeah, it was a very fun experience. We hadn't really done something like that on the trip so far.
Because it's really the kind of thing that you need to know a local family or somebody local to be able to do that kind of thing.
Yeah, we were very comfortable there. We felt very welcome by the family there too.
Yeah.
That was our basically last day there.
Right.
We left with the family the next morning, and then it was time to say goodbye. Unfortunately, we were there for, like I said, longer than we expected, about a week. It was only supposed to be like a few days originally, but we needed to get to Ecuador. We had to keep going on the trip. So getting to Ecuador from Bogota should only take 2 or 3 days, as we were looking at it on the map. But the first day, we were riding. Everything's going fine. We pulled into our town, and then Serafina's bike looks like it's overheating.
My radiator fan wasn't turning on, so we pulled into a town. We found a mechanic.
Actually, a guy on a motorcycle helped us to find a mechanic.
Right.
It was actually really simple. Like something was just corroded for the contact for the fan. No big deal. Fixed. Nothing's actually.
But we ended up staying there a full day extra, and that guy who took us to the mechanic invited us over to his house for lunch.
So we hopped on the other bike, rode to his house. He showed us around his neighborhood, which is kind of a very rural, on the outskirts of the town. It's in the town of Neiva. And then we saw the creek and just walked around a bit. He introduced us to his pets that he had, until he introduced us to a chicken named Lunch. Apparently they raise chickens specifically just to eat. And what trip like this is complete without watching an animal be killed and then consuming it? We saw that whole process. He gave us the full experience. We had to clean up, like boiling water to pull off the feathers and stuff. And then you end up with a chicken that looks like it just came from the store. It's the same thing. And
still has the teeth and neck attached.
Oh, they took care of those too.
Yeah. And so then his wife cooked it up, and we ended up having stewed chicken and rice.
So this was a very similar lunch than was what we've had like on the road. Like if you're just stopping someplace, it's basically a stewed chicken with rice. It's got potatoes. It's really tasty. Then they always serve it with like a side of broth. It's basically like a chicken soup kind of thing. And it was good to be able to see it made in a home rather than just like
from step one
roadside.
Right.
It was very tasty. So we said goodbye to his family, and then it was time to again try and make it to Ecuador. So we accidentally took a wrong turn. It was where the GPS said to go, but it was like an entirely dirt road. Awesome riding. Except there's a lot of vibrations, and this ended up breaking the luggage frame rack for my bike.
Yeah, so we had to strap one of the metal panniers on top of the bike, which made the bike very lopsided, but...
it worked. We just kept going.
We did. We made it into the next town, fixed it up, and it was fine.
Yeah, but again, that shortened the length that we could actually ride that day. It was, again, great riding. I really enjoyed those roads. It's basically twisty, nice tarmac. There's a pothole every once in a while, but it's really not that big of a deal. Excellent riding. Some of the best mountain riding I think we've done on the trip so far.
Really gorgeous scenery around there.
Yeah, and then we stopped for lunch at one point. We were just hungry. The weather looked like it was going to get a little bad. And while we were there, this was the most massive rainstorm that I think we saw on the whole trip.
It wasn't raining when we stopped, but like as we walked into the restaurant, it started pouring down rain. And it was pouring rain.
Yeah.
So we had lunch. We were hoping it would clear up.
I asked him, is it going to stop? They're like, no, it does this all the time. But it actually did stop.
It did.
And we left, and it was perfectly nice weather again.
Yeah.
No problem. The roads are wet, though.
Good timing.
Yeah. And then we made it to the border of Ecuador.
But that's for the next episode. And on that next episode, we cross the equator and figure out what canyoning is.
But until then, you can follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/hungryriders.
And of course, our whole website is at hungryriders.com. See you next time.
Filming?